What's up, guys? So today I decided to make a new playlist for news on Bitcoin. So obviously the mainstream media doesn't really talk about what's important and what can actually have a big impact on our financial life. So I decided to kind of just do a quick resume for all of you guys that don't have the time to spend an hour a day on X, Twitter, and to just kind of sum up all the crazy news that have been happening with Bitcoin in the past weeks. All right, so I obviously wanted to start with home, where I'm from. So, congratulations to Vancouver, the city. The council just passed the motion to adopt Bitcoin. This is extremely bullish. I'm also very surprised because they started the process of adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet only a couple of weeks ago, and it has already passed the motion. So basically, Vancouver City is going to be stacking Bitcoin in the next coming days, which is pretty nuts. Second huge news straight from the USA is Texas has now officially introduced a legislation for their strategic Bitcoin reserve. So it's now officially live on the Texas legislature online website of the Texas government. It will most likely pass in the next coming weeks as well. So another big news is apparently, according to sources that are around Trump and the Trump family, apparently he would be very happy to see it go to $150,000 per Bitcoin USD. Obviously, this could not be true, but I do suspect that there is a little bit of truth behind this. So in layman's term, you have Orange Man likes Orange coin go up. All right, so it's pretty simple. Really bullish news. Hopefully, this is correct. But if you look at the past presidency of Trump, he likes to use the stock market as a metric of how successful the economy is. So for him now to also include Bitcoin price into that would make a lot of sense. And then obviously that would kick in the game theory of Bitcoin. We live in a very crazy timeline right now. Like I call it the Chad timeline, where everything just overnight shifted for the best. And according to Malaysia's largest bank, so this is quite obvious, once the US established their Bitcoin reserves, every other country will be forced to do the same. There's only 21 million Bitcoin, guys. Okay, this is simple logic, simple maths. This is going to be crazy. 2025 is going to be nuts. All of this will most likely happen Q1 of 2025 once Donald Trump gets inaugurated at the White House. So we're about to see some fireworks. It's going to be wild. So please do not sell your Bitcoin too fast. Just go on vacation. And talking about other countries jumping in the bandwagon, we have the Prince Philip of Serbia that has now apparently said that the Bitcoin strategic reserves are already happening behind closed door. This makes a lot of sense. If all the other countries know that President Trump is going to do that, obviously they're going to try to front run the USA, especially the smaller countries, right? So that's just the game theory kicking in really hard. So this is pretty wild. I was not expecting to see this. I was expecting the game theory to happen in 2028 for the next cycle of Bitcoin, not this one. So we are really jumping through time right now. Like I said, it's kind of like a new time zone. You know, we kind of like went from like this insane Orwellian type of bizarre timeline, right? Where it was not looking good for freedom, liberty, and now all of a sudden we're like in a Chad time zone. You know what I mean? So it's pretty wild. So hopefully, it continues getting better. And I wanted to remind you guys how early we are when it comes to the Bitcoin adoption. A lot of people, they think, oh, we're at $101,000 right now, USD per Bitcoin. I'm late. I missed the train. Guys, right now, we are basically pre-internet adoption when it comes to Bitcoin. It's kind of like investing in the internet before the 2000s right now. So anyone that thinks that they're too late, I'm telling you, you're not as late as you might think you are. And just looking at the price of an asset, especially when it's such a scarce asset, will most likely misguide you in your judgment. So please, obviously, don't be this guy. Right now, the one thing that's really important to understand about Bitcoin is it's no longer about you or me. It's no longer about the retail. Now we're going to enter the new phase of Bitcoin, which is what it was programmed to be, which now makes you and me irrelevant to the price of Bitcoin. It's all about nations adopting Bitcoin, governments, sovereign funds, big players that basically control the financial world. That's what's going to bring Bitcoin to $1 million USD per coin. Obviously, not in a straight line, and it's most likely not going to happen in this cycle. But in my humble opinion, we're going so fast, way faster than I even thought the adoption of Bitcoin was going to happen, that I would not be surprised if in next cycle we actually do hit $1 million. I could be completely wrong, but if this continues, this is going to be insane to watch. It's going to be something you definitely will not see again in your lifetime, in my humble opinion. And then, last breaking news for Bitcoin, the Czech Republic just eliminated capital gain taxes on Bitcoin held for 3+ years with unanimous parliamentary approval. That right there most likely will also come to the West, but I do think that right now we're in the strategic reserve phase of Bitcoin, and then eventually this will also happen to the Western world, where there will no longer be capital gain taxes. So please guys, don't sell your Bitcoin too early. It's gonna be the biggest mistake you will have ever done. So now changing subject, some crazy Solana news as well. So Solana just generated $5 billion in annualized fees. So congratulations to the holder of the Solana coin. I've been telling people to buy Solana since 2023, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And another breaking news for Solana and Bitcoin this time. So Zeus Network has now officially been able to validate a Bitcoin transaction on the Solana blockchain, which is a game changer, because obviously the only weakness Bitcoin has at the moment is the speed of transactions, right? That's why it's seen as digital gold and not as, something you necessarily want to use to buy a cup of coffee or a small item that you would buy on a daily basis. But now, using the speed of the Solana blockchain, the Zeus network has been able to validate those Bitcoin transactions. And then lastly, I just wanted to finish with some amazing news about Tesla, right? There's a reason why I keep talking about the same stuff, and I have my personal money concentrated into these specific bets. If you have your money at the right place, guys, you don't need to worry about something going up or down on a daily or a weekly basis. If you know where it's going, you're basically on vacation until the world wakes up to what you realized, right? So that's how you make life-changing money, in my humble opinion. So that's kind of why I stick to the same stuff, because it just, it works. And at the moment, Tesla is reportedly planning to launch a new sub 30K EV called the Model Q in the first half of 2025. This is going to be something that is important for Wall Street, right? Obviously, this is not even why I am invested heavily in Tesla. For me, it's about Tesla being completely revalued by Wall Street basically once they stop pricing it as a car company. Because at the moment, guys, believe it or not, the reason why the Model Q is going to be important is because Wall Street is still valuing and categorizing Tesla as a car manufacturing company. After 2025, in my humble opinion, this will have changed because of FSD, the SaaS business model that will come with that, and Optimus, the robot, and also a fleet of robo-taxi. And again, another thing that is going to be quite crazy to witness. And those type of changes, they happen every couple of decades, and if you're lucky enough to witness them, it's a beautiful thing to watch. And on top of that, if you can have your money invested in it, right, that's like the cherry on top of the sundae. But my point is, at the moment, guys, Tesla is still in the auto manufacturing category when it comes to the weighting of indexes on Wall Street. And the day that changes, it's going to create an insane demand for the Tesla stock, because now all of a sudden, all the other tech indexes, right, technology indexes, are now going to also be underweight the Tesla stock, because Tesla is still to this day categorized as a car manufacturing, which is completely stupid in my humble opinion, but it's also great if you're a retail investor like me and you, because we're basically front running Wall Street. And then when that does happen and it changes, all these indexes are going to be forced to buy a crap ton of Tesla, in Lehman's term, pump our bags. There you go, guys. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm just gonna finish with the FSD. It's insane, guys. Don't fake this. This is the future, guys. I'm dancing right now. You can't see me, but I'm dancing. All right, 100 minutes of LA traffic with zero intervention, and you're fading this. This happens every couple of decades. Do not miss this. I've been telling you guys to buy some. Don't miss this. If you have $100,000 USD in Tesla, in my humble opinion, you will no longer have to work if you're patient enough and you wait about 4 to 5 years. Yeah, it's going to be that fast, in my humble opinion. And you just leave it there and go on vacation, continue going to your normal job, and afterwards, I'm telling you, you won't need to work. And in the same time, are you really gonna still have a job, right? If I'm correct on Optimus, the robot, and FSD, right? So it's not just being able to retire early, it's also about protecting yourself against a completely new future, right? I told you we're entering this Chad timeline. Okay, I call it the Chad timeline. It's gonna be nuts, and a lot of people that are still asleep at the wheel are going to have a horrible time, in my humble opinion. But the good news is, if I'm correct on Optimus, the next step will also be UBI. So there will be UBI. So I don't even remember what it stands for, but UBI stands for it's basically checks for everybody, right? So what is UBI? UBI basically is free checks for all the poor modern peasants. So we're all gonna start receiving some checks from the government of the fiat currency that will no longer be worth anything, because there will most likely not be a lot of jobs in the future, and we most likely will enter a world of abundance, which is pretty crazy to say. I sound like a complete nuthead, and I do not care. If I am correct on FSD and Optimus, the world is going to change overnight. UBI will be worldwide accepted, which will then make the price of Bitcoin go above $1 million, because obviously once you have UBI and you have free money, free helicopter money everywhere, well, that basically means that the fiat currency is worthless. So you're gonna need an asset that is scarce like Bitcoin and obviously gold. All right, so take care. Hopefully my crazy rant at the end helped you kind of see the future. None of you guys are still listening, so who cares, right? I'll most likely end up being correct on every crazy stuff I just said. It's just common sense. Honestly, if you just use your brain, you're gonna realize that if all of these happen, they're gonna trigger each other, right? So that's pretty obvious. All right, take care. May God bless you and have a beautiful day. See you in the next video.